Imagine you're a cop. You're out there doing your job, chasing down a robbery in the middle of everything, and your phone rings. It's your wife. Your son is dead. That's how this movie starts. No easing you in, no warm-up, just pain right in the first few minutes. Our guy is a police officer named Ryu Yi. He rushes to the hospital, heart pounding, and they show him the surveillance footage. The official story: it was an accident, a hit and run, case closed. But Ryu, he's standing in that hallway, shaking, not from grief, not yet from rage. He makes a promise right there. He will find the person who took his son. 3 years go by. His wife couldn't hold on. She divorced him. Now he's alone in a house that used to be full of life, his son running around, laughing, playing. He sits there every night with a drink in his hand, replaying every good memory, every perfect moment he had with his family. The kind of life that feels like a dream once it's gone. Eventually, he forces himself back to the precinct. His senior tells him to take his time, come back slowly. But staying home is worse. At least at work, he can pretend he's still the man he used to be. So he's back on duty, and while riding with his partner one day, he spots 3 little kids trying to break into a car. He's not even supposed to deal with this, but something in him says go. He chases one down, catches him, this tiny kid, barely old enough to be doing any of this, and instead of dragging him to the station, he takes him to a cafe. He buys him something, grabs the kid's phone, calls his mother, and just waits, playing phone games with this boy like it's the most normal thing in the world. Then she walks in, young, beautiful, clearly exhausted, a single mother who's been carrying everything on her own. She starts apologizing, she's sorry, she's so sorry, and Ryu just looks at her and says, I don't want your sorry, I want change. Not harsh, not cold, just real. Because he sees what's happening. This woman is working herself to the bone, and her son is out here running with the wrong crowd because nobody's watching him. He gives her the truth she needs to hear, even though it hurts. He leaves, and the memories hit him again. His wife getting ready for work, his son at home with him, the two of them playing games, laughing, the most ordinary moments that now feel like the greatest days of his life. He remembers tying his son's shoes before school. His son always needed help with the laces. He snaps out of it. A few days later, he runs into the single mother again. She's at the precinct selling life insurance to the officers. He pulls her outside. His co-workers think he's smooth, picking her up right in front of everyone, but that's not it. He's thinking about the policy, about death, about what happens if he doesn't make it. He asks about signing up. She tries to get to know him, asks where he's from, asks about his past. He answers one question and then he shuts down. Some things he's not ready to say out loud. He crosses paths with the boy again. This time the kid is hiding inside a phone shop, running from a bully who's been using him to do dirty work. Ryu steps in and the bully takes one look at a cop and disappears. He takes the boy for a walk. The kid asks about his family, and Ryu, this tough, closed-off man, actually answers. He tells him his son passed away. The boy goes quiet, then he says his father died too. Just like that, 2 broken people find each other in the middle of the street. He brings the boy home to his mother. She's furious at the kid for skipping school, at herself, maybe at everything. She talks to Ryu about how hard it's been, raising a child alone, how her husband panicked when she got pregnant and was never really there. Ryu listens. He doesn't judge, he just listens. Then the 3 of them go hiking together. She hates hiking. She goes anyway. And somewhere up on that mountain, with the fresh air and the quiet and the view stretched out in front of them, something changes. She starts feeling something for him. And if you're watching closely, he's feeling it too. He just doesn't know what to do with that yet. A man carrying that much grief doesn't know how to make room for something good. Back at the station, he's telling his partner about her. His partner says she's too young, leave it alone. They're joking in the bathroom when a stranger walks up to the urinal beside him. The man is overly friendly, too friendly. You look good, how are you? Everybody knows you around here. Ryu's suspicious. Then the man asks one question. Did you ever find out who killed your son? The air leaves the room. The man keeps talking, says it's been 13 years, that he's free now, that Ryu should move on, live normally. Then he walks out, and Ryu quietly, carefully takes a photo of him. He doesn't know it yet, but he just photographed his son's killer. He digs into the man's background and finds out he's a former gangster who just got out of prison. But here's what kills him. The man has completely turned his life around. He opened a gym. He's training orphan boys, giving them direction, keeping them off the streets. The community loves him. Ryu is disgusted. How does a man like that get to play the hero? He walks into that gym and faces him. They talk boxing, life, the sport. The gangster is relaxed, almost warm. Then Ryu drops the question, where were you in 2007? The man pauses. He says he was driving back from Seoul, bad traffic. A kid ran out in front of him, he hit him, he left. That was Ryu's son. When police formally press him for a confession, he gives it but calls the whole thing an accident. And then, looking directly at Ryu, he says the boy was unlucky. He was lucky, that's it. No remorse, no guilt, just a man who has moved on and never looked back. We go back to 2007. Ryu was on the phone with his son, laughing, teasing him. You still can't tie your own laces. His son walked home alone that day, reached the bottom of the stairs and bent down to tie his shoe. He was still trying to get it right when the car hit him. The driver looked at the boy lying on the ground and kept driving. Ryu confronts the gangster again. He demands meaning. He demands to understand why. And the gangster tells him something cold. Stop searching for meaning meaning in something that has none. It wasn't revenge, it wasn't personal, it was nothing, just a man who made a choice and never lost sleep over it. Does he feel any remorse? The man doesn't even blink. After Ryu leaves, we find out the gangster has terminal cancer. He's been dying this whole time. Ryu locks himself in a room. When they break the door down, they find him standing there, not talking, just hollow. The single mother sits beside him. She tells him, even if you get your revenge, nothing that already happened will change. He yells. She doesn't move. She just looks at him and says, even with all that hate in your heart, revenge won't give you what you're really looking for. And then he does something nobody expected. He goes back to the gym. He signs up to train under the man who killed his son. The orphan boys start teaching him how to box. He can't throw a punch to save his life. He comes back the next day anyway, and the day after that. This is his revenge, but not the kind you're thinking. The female lead comes and sits outside the gym watching him. She asks again, what changes if you win? He vents. She listens, then she leaves. He watches her go and doesn't stop her, but something in him is shifting. Slowly, quietly. His life is starting to breathe again. At the hospital, the gangster hears Ryu is still training. He smiles. Back at the gym, he arranges a spar between Ryu and his orphan boy. Ryu is older, slower, completely outmatched. Every time the boy puts him on the ground, he gets back up. Every single time. The gangster watches him, and for the first time, something crosses his face that might be respect. Then the gangster does something unexpected. He uses the single mother's son's phone to call Ryu directly. He says if he had used any other number, Ryu wouldn't have picked up. Ryu drives straight to his house, gun in hand. He walks through the door and the gangster starts talking, really talking. He tells Ryu he was an orphan himself, that he spent his whole life stealing and surviving and never knowing another way. Then he tells him about the cancer. He's not going to survive it, and then he points to a bag. Inside the bag is poison. There's a camera hidden in the room. The gangster is watching Ryu, waiting for him to pick up that poison and hand it over, so he can die on his own terms and frame a cop for murder on the way out. This is his trap. Ryu looks at the poison. He looks at the man. He picks up the bag. And then he cries. He asks him the same question he once asked his dying son. What do you see? He looks at this man, this killer who ruined 3 lives and never lost a night of sleep, and he says, I feel sorry for you. And he walks out. That is the revenge. No blood, no murder charge, no satisfaction the gangster could steal from him. Just pity, the one thing a man like that has no defense against. Later, alone, the gangster takes the poison himself. He sits by the window, looks out at the world, and dies thinking about the life he lived. The final scene. Ryu and the single mother are leaving their small town for Seoul. Fresh start, bags packed. They're taking pictures outside, laughing, and a boy walks up offering to take the photo for them. He asks who they are to each other. She smiles and says, that's my father. They pull each other close. The boy takes the picture. The film ends. The movie is called My Glorious Revenge. And trust me, once you get to that ending, you'll understand why the title hits the way it does. If this recap moved you, hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.